Welcome to Inside Gaming. I'm Brian. It's the weekend roundup. We did it. We're here. All right, so let's talk about the Epic Game Store, guys, the one that you all know and love. It's been around for a little more than a year now. So how's it doing? Has all the controversy been worth it? Well, guys, I got some bad news. If you hate all those exclusives on the Epic Game Store, despite all the hate they get online, they have made a bunch of money, and Epic not going to stop doing them anytime soon. Executives at Epic shared some stats on the store's first year. Looks like it has gotten off to a very profitable start. After just over a year of operation, the store has 108 million PC customers and 680 million in revenue. Epic Game Store GM Steve Allison told Game Daily that they are ahead of expectations when it comes to account growth and revenue. Part of the reason, of course, is the weekly free game giveaway that they do. Allison said they're going to continue that in 2020 because they're Epic. They make so much money, they could probably give away 5 games every week and be fine. The store has been popular with developers and publishers because they keep 88% of their games' revenue compared to 70% on storefronts like Steam. But of course, it is Epic's practice of locking big name games like The Division 2, Metro Exodus, Borderlands 3 into exclusive deals that has brought a lot of controversy. Lots of gamers have been annoyed at the exclusives forcing them to use the Epic Game Store, and they point to things like its massive lack of features compared to something like Steam. But Epic CEO Tim Sweeney has repeatedly defended the exclusive deals, saying that they're needed to establish a competitor to Steam and to break its lock on the PC games market. But another fact that pisses off fans is sometimes when they're told one of their games is going to be coming to Steam, only to learn at the last minute that the developer signed a deal with Epic. That happened in the case of Shenmue 3 after developer EastNet pulled the old switcheroo, announced that it would be an Epic Game Store exclusive instead. Angry fans who had crowdfunded it demanded refund, but EastNet and publisher Deep Silver basically refused. The whole thing blew up. Sweeney later said Epic would step in and cover the cost of the refunds. There was also massive drama over an indie game called Ooblets that also went the Epic exclusive route, only to see angry fans kind of go a little ham, a little over the line, and personally harass and threaten to the developers. Don't do that. So yeah, Epic has drawn a lot of fire for its exclusive deals, and so have the developers who have signed them, but Epic has no plans to change that strategy. Allison said that exclusives make up 90% of all new releases on the store. He said they have driven the majority of revenue so far, and Sweeney himself told Game Daily exclusives have been critical in gaining momentum in the presence of a competitor that began in 2019 with more than 90% market share. Securing exclusives for Epic means we can significantly assist developers with product funding and invest in marketing and awareness, knowing that these efforts bring in new customers to our store rather than just securing more business to the incumbent. He sounds so altruistic there. Epic officials also said they have tons of exclusives coming this year. Geez, so love it or hate it, it is not going to change anytime soon. Moving on, it looks like the recent holiday season was really bad for GameStop. I know what you're thinking, GameStop doing bad? What kind of crazy topsy-turvy world is this? Yeah, you probably know things haven't been great at the retailer for a while now, but they announced this week that holiday sales dropped more than 27%. That's really bad. It's even worse considering that the holiday season, by far the most important time for retailers. GameStop stock tanked on the news. It dropped by up to 16% on the announcement. Really, most of 2020 is going to be terrible for GameStop. We are late in a console cycle, which means nobody's going to go shopping for a new PlayStation or Xbox, or very few people are. But more than anything, the shift to buying things digitally continues to kill GameStop. They're hoping to hang on until the next holiday season when the PS5, the Xbox Series X come out. People come into the store, shop, maybe they'll buy a game, maybe one of those crappy little dolls they have, but until then, it is going to be rough.
Brian, where am I getting my Funko Pops? I can't go to Hot Topic.
I guess you'll just have to go everywhere else to get them. All right, is Bioshock coming to the Switch? It sure looks that way. Some sites noticed that the remastered Bioshock collection, which includes Bioshock 1 and 2 along with Bioshock Infinite, have been rated for the Switch in Taiwan. No official confirmation from Nintendo yet, but that's pretty promising. It'd be great to play those games on the go. Also, more stuff possibly coming to the Switch. People have noticed that Metro Redux has been listed for a February Switch release in the EU, and there's also a rumor that Pikmin 3 could get ported to the Switch as well. Not hard, given how popular the Switch is, not hard to imagine all of that being true. Everybody is like porting everything to the Switch these days. Maybe we'll be getting it a direct soon, who knows. All right, you might have stopped playing Pokemon Go, but a lot of your friends still are. Despite the worldwide craze of a few years ago dying down, Pokemon Go had its best year ever in 2019. Sensor Tower reports it made nearly $900 million in player spending last year. That's up from its launch year, 2016. It just made a paltry $832 million that year. But over the years, a lot of people have dropped off, but Niantic kept adding features to the game. Its revenues have been growing. In total, it has made $3 billion. Damn. All right, moving on. It looks like a new Half-Life game is helping to move VR units. One specifically, the Valve Index, which is very pricey, is sold out in all 31 regions where it's sold, except for a couple of bundles in Japan. That is insane, especially considering the Valve Index sells for almost $1,000. At least one of those bundles is. That's a lot even by VR standards. Of course, there's a reason why it's moving so well lately. HalfLife Alex, the long-awaited next entry in the franchise, was announced last year. It's due out in March, unless it gets delayed like everything else these days. But clearly lots of people want to be in on it and they want to play the VR only game. So maybe this could be the big killer app that finally blows up VR and into the mainstream. A Valve spokesperson told Road to VR, "We are working hard to build more units and meet the high demand. We are targeting to be back in stock before Half-Life Alex ships." Okay, 5-second review. It's a pretty decent action RPG. All right, let's talk about what's coming out next week. First up is Tim Tim, a massively multiplayer creature collection adventure inspired by, of course, Pokemon. Seek adventure in the lovely airborne archipelago alongside your Tim Tim squad. Catch every Tim Tim, battle other tamers, customize your house, join a friend's adventure, or explore the dynamic online world. That does sound familiar. This description is hilarious. Every kid dreams about becoming a Tim Tim tamer. Explore the 6 islands of the airborne archipelago, discovering new species and making good friends along the way. Now it's your turn to embark on an epic adventure and make those dreams come true. You know what they say, Tim Tim, you need to catch all of them. It's coming to Steam Early Access January 21st. Ember is an homage to classic role-playing games that features a deep branching story, endless exploration across a huge open world, a robust skill system, and an intricate crafting system. Back in the earliest days, there was no sun and the world was dark. I love these descriptions. The heavens opened up and stars fell like beacons into the pitch black world, and they were known as Embers. Powerful and wise druids of a primordial race, the Lightbringers, roamed the land searching for this luminous matter. They performed a ritual of awakening to call the embers out of their deep sleep. Suddenly the world became bright and the veil of darkness was lifted. And that's how Hawaii was made. The embers were the embodiment of magical flame, light, and life, but as word spread about the sheer power of the embers, they came to be hunted and captured, and you know what happened? The war for Ember began. It's out for the Switch January 21st. Up next, Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, the game's single-player DLC that lets you explore an alternate story. Here's the description. Remind, the other tale that unfolded during the climax of Kingdom Hearts 3. Determined to rescue Kairi, Sora travels to the Keyblade graveyard a short time before the final battle was about to take place. Lacking a corporeal form, he traces the hearts of the 7 Guardians of Light. Through experiencing their personal battles firsthand, Sora is about to discover truths he has never before imagined. And if that makes absolutely no sense to you, welcome to Kingdom Hearts. It's out for PS4 January 23rd, Xbox One about a month later, February 25th. Next up is Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD, which is a remake of the 2005 game. In the dusty, undeveloped wastelands of Western Modos, cantankerous townsfolk find their settlements besieged by belligerent outlaws. Along comes Stranger, a tall, dark, and enigmatic bounty hunter with a mission to capture troublemakers and scoundrels and return them to civilized townships for incarceration. incarceration. Yep, that's what bounty hunters do. But Stranger is keeping a secret and needs expensive surgery to survive. That's the plot to Iron Man. Anyway, in his quest to earn enough moolah, Stranger reluctantly accepts the ultimate bounty from the owner of the Mongo River, and suddenly his adventure takes a very different turn. It's coming to the Switch, January 23rd. Next up is Mosaic, a game where you live a monotonous and repetitive lonely life in a cold, overpopulated, ever-expanding city. Sounds like everybody's first job out of college. The phone is distracting you with meaningless notifications as you move through anonymous crowds on your way to work at a mega corporation where yet another long day with overtime awaits. You have no real sense of meaning until one day when strange things start to happen on your commute to work and everything changes. Mosaic is a dark, surrealistic, and atmospheric adventure about urban isolation and the dread of being a piece in a giant machine you can't understand. That's called capitalism. It's out for the Switch, January 23rd. And finally, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is a VR game unlike any other in the Walking Dead universe. Every challenge you face and decision you make is driven by you. Fight the undead, scavenge through the flooded ruins of New Orleans, and face gut-wrenching choices for you and the other survivors. Live The Walking Dead's dark drama in your own skin. In the game, here's the description, I love it. New Orleans is at war. The living are not just fighting the dead, but also inflicting pain and brutality on each other. As bodies pile up between warring factions, whispers spread of a long-lost mystery in the city that could turn the tide of the war. Will you be able to survive while caught in the middle of this conflict? Can you unravel the mystery that's behind it all? The fate of the city and its survivors rest in your hands. Can you save Jazz? With the living dead, disease, and famine as constant threats, you have countless ways to tackle these dangers.
There have been some controversies over at the Epic Games Store in the past, but nothing has come close to the giant show that we've seen over the last few days.
Yeah, and it's all over a cute little indie game named Ooblets, which is the best name ever.
If you're not familiar with the game, it's a life sim that's part Pokemon, part Stardew Valley. It's being made by a UK husband and wife team, and it's due out on the Xbox One and PC later this year.
Well, that just